like, surprise! One thing about Matthew is he holds grudges. Yeah. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and we're back with a brand new series, one that I'm very excited for. It is back into the Marvel world we go, and this time it is going into the darker side of Marvel with Daredevil Born Again. So I was really happy when I heard that they were going to pick up this series. I watched the original, well, not the original, but the Daredevil that Netflix put out, oh goodness, a while back now. I very much enjoyed that series. I think Charlie Cox did an amazing job, as did Vincent D'Onofrio and all the other people who played in that show. I liked all of them, actually. I liked that one. I love Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Dragon, Iron Fist. Iron Fist was a little, but we won't get into that. But digressing, I was really happy to hear that when Disney basically pulled the plug on Netflix having those series, that we didn't lose them, because I do go back and rewatch them because they're that good. And so everyone's been talking about this for a while, and I think my biggest hope going into this series is that they took the things that really worked from the Netflix series and incorporated them into this new one. I'm not saying they need to do it exactly the same, because time has passed since that first aired, but just more that Netflix and whoever was behind it there, they really, in my opinion, were able to encapsulate what a lot of us believe Daredevil to be, which was this, gritty anti-hero who he was really cool to watch, but was deeply troubled. And, just that he was always battling between this love for his city and this rage that was always churning inside of him, all that good stuff. And also the fact that they made Wilson Fisk into a villain that we could actually empathize with, which is something that I think had never been done before. So I've talked enough about it anyways, but I'm very much looking forward to this series. Like I said, my hopes are high. My hopes are really, really up there, because the source material is great. And I'm also glad they were able to bring over the majority of the cast from the first one as well. So we're going to go into episode 1 here, which is called Heaven's Half Hour, right about now. But just before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I do react to all kinds of good stuff here, lots of Marvel stuff and the like. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so that you can be part of this journey and any of the other cool things that are coming up. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Where are we picking up? Are we picking up after, gosh, I don't even remember where season 3 ended on Netflix. I should go back and watch it. I wonder if we're also going to incorporate what happened in Echo as well with Wilson Fisk. I feel like we have to. Also, sorry, I'm fighting a cold, so my voice is going to sound real crazy.
Becky's Diner on 8? Love that place. Closed.
I definitely prefer Eldon with shorter hair. He looks so much more grown up with this.
I've walked the earth, had adventures.
Well, I'm thinking about restoring a farmhouse upstate.
That's nice.
Why the hell are you quitting?
Hey, excuse me? It's called retirement.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's around retirement age.
Daredevil, White Tiger, they're the future. We're obsolete.
Oh, spare me the
Who's White Tiger?
We get sued and they get cheered.
The way I see it, the vigilantes,
He's not wrong.
some are stand-up human beings worthy of the gig, others are just power-tripping assholes.
She's not wrong.
Keep your cash. Tonight's your crime. You don't
That's
pay.
right. Retirement presents.
May you be in heaven a full half hour, for the devil knows you're dead.
I don't know if I like this cheer.
What's your game plan?
I'll keep my strategy to myself, thank you very much.
Wow.
He does not have the game for Kirsten Duffy.
How dare you? Don't underestimate our
I
flaws.
was about to say, you don't know.
Foggy. Oh, stupid rescue.
Foggy's fine.
What do you think about some new glasses? Oh, I think they're a little. Oh, I just think they're a little dated.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you've had them since the Netflix series. Really? In this day and age, you still have a traditional lock on your door? In New York? Okay, whoever this is wants to make sure you see them.
Seriously, Foggy. It's a secure building, Benny. You're safe.
Maybe we should trust him.
Look, I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't want to give you an excuse.
Oh, he said you got rage issues, Matthew. He did not want to give you a reason to put that suit on and hurt people. Okay, grappling hook is new. Don't hate it. I know it's not new for the character, but they did not have it in the Netflix one as much. Okay, homie said I've been aching to do some parkour.
He wanted to know where you were. I'm sorry. Who?
Someone who knew that you would send Daredevil, apparently. Oh, is this was this Bullseye? Supposed to be Bullseye?
He said someone's looking.
Whoever it was did not care. Those are cops. Why didn't they kill Karen?
Hello, Karen.
It is Bullseye. Bullseye don't miss. So does this mean we actually lost Foggy in the first 5 minutes? Because Bullseye don't miss. Matthew, how are you stabbed twice already, bro? Yes, everyone evacuate, please. Ooh. Ooh. I kind of like it when Matt yells. I don't like it, guys. I think we're about to lose Foggy in the first 5 minutes. That's crazy. Oh, bro, you were tired. Don't do this. What about the farmhouse in upstate? I love that. The cinematic look of it already, between the smoke everywhere and now literally close the, which I knew were coming down. Damn. Oh. Ma'am. This guy's such an asshole. These people did nothing. Yeah, fighting is exhausting, huh? What is your problem, Bullseye? Like, they literally can't even see your face, bro. This is so extra. Matthew, I'm gonna need you to move faster. Oh, God. But that's smart. Matt doesn't need to see. God, Matt, you look like a freaking pincushion, bro! Matt, I'm gonna need you to focus on the fight here. Nothing you can do for Foggy at this point. He's like, surprise! One thing about Matthew is he holds grudges. Yeah. Ooh, yes. I'm sorry. I love when Matt yells. Beat him more. Matt, you're going to break something, bro. Why are you fighting so nice? Arms could be broken by now. Bullseye is pretty much useless if you break his arms.
It's okay. You stay with me.
I don't think Foggy's gonna make it, Karen. Bullseye don't miss.
Jesus Christ! No, come on. Come on. Please.
Can't believe they did that to you, Eldon.
Why? Why?
You gave him that satisfaction, Matt? I'm not mad. The blown pupils, well done. Don't look, Karen, it's don't look. Okay. I know, bro. You're gonna have to get off that rooftop. You're not allowed to kill people, even if they deserve it. Does he know who you are? Well, he does now. Now I have to kill you too! Yeah, you kind of just murdered someone. They deserved it. But it's a line, Matt. That's a line. What the Okay, this is why they say if you do something, you have to make sure you do it properly, bro. Although I guess this means you won't technically get a death sentence. And what's crazy is Matt would have heard his... I love that they showed us that Matt heard his heart stop beating. Oh, not the symbolism of the fallen mask. Oh, the broken horn. I see you. Does that mean we're getting a new suit? I was even going to say before that, like, you can't see it, but there's actually an OG Daredevil poster on my wall, but it's behind my bookshelf right now. I'm going to have to move it out into the sunlight just for this series. Are we getting a time jump? I thought so. 1 year. Let me guess, he has not put the suit on since?
15 candidates, including 2 former city council members and a stand-up comedian.
Y'all, this is a little too close to real life. Let's move on. Sparing? Healthy, I guess. Wilson, is that you? We watching the waistline now? I think it's not a lick of seasoning. Not one iota. You know, you start to get to a certain age, you gotta watch your cholesterol and all that, you know? That's when them egg white stuff start coming in. Interesting parallel of Matt's morning routine. Now kingpins. Oh, did they both choose black today? Aw, twinsies.
Since before you started wearing that stupid tracksuit.
What'd you say?
Stop it, both of you. Don't be little boys squabbling over pennies when you're set.
Thank you.
Yes, Miss Fisk.
Oh, it's his wife.
Take a breath and calm down.
So it always takes a woman to have to just take it down. Everyone put it back in your pants.
I would prefer wire, but if you must pay cash, arrangements can be
She
made.
is taking care of business. Uh-oh. Is, Daddy here? Guess so. Children? Was she not supposed to be here? Oh, is this supposed to be after he got shot? Like I said, I'm trying to figure out if this is after what happened with Echo. Because he almost died, but we know he didn't. Did she just take over maybe while he was recovering? I mean, if she's doing a good job, you should just say thank you. I love how everyone just left the room. They didn't even have to ask. They were like, this feels like a couple squabble. We're going to leave you to it.
You left the bed I sat beside for months while you recovered. And for what?
Oh, so he left after he recovered. Okay.
Now you walk in here and end a meeting with the 5 families by simply standing in the doorway.
Sometimes you got the sauce.
My undying love for you.
Okay.
And the second?
Yeah, she's like, the point.
I would have to step away, and anything I was involved with could never be perceived as illegal.
I get it.
I made this business bulletproof.
Yes. There can be no gray area.
Why does it feel like you're condescending?
It's time.
No, it's interesting. I'm trying to read Vanessa's face. Like, is she happy he's back, or is she feeling like he's going to dismantle all the hard work she's just done? Because I'm not sure if he's actually recognizing it so much as he's saying, yeah, and I'll get out of the way.
Holy cow, you beat me in.
Yeah, and I made coffee.
Oh.
That was supposed to be Foggy's great romance.
See how you are before tomorrow. Have you heard from her?
I have not, no.
Well, when the time
I
is
know
right.
what you're trying to do. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Then maybe you should listen to it, Matthew. You've never done well when you don't listen to people trying to, you know, warn you about your anger.
It won't be served because...
Karen.
on the whim of a violent and disturbed man. A self-styled assassin with a grudge out to murder his perceived enemies.
Is that it?
Because that punishment, that is the closest any of us will ever get to justice.
Karen's like, why haven't you killed him yet, Matt?
Benjamin Leonard Poindexter, you have been convicted of 11 counts.
That name is a choice.
To be served consecutively.
Wow, Matt.
How are you?
Traumatized, thanks.
But I'm really glad that you're doing so well.
That's well?
I refuse to believe that a tragedy had to destroy everything.
But it did.
Sometimes it does, Maddie. Sometimes it does.
I'm not him anymore. And I won't let myself be.
We've heard that before.
No, Karen, please don't. Please don't. Can you just wait 5 minutes?
I found this at Josie's. I thought you might want it.
Not the lost horn. Ooh, and it's even chipped up. So metaphorical. I love this little attention to detail that he's cooking in the dark because he doesn't need the lights on. The first thing in my head was like, that's dangerous. But then I'm like, not for Matt.
Tonight, I'm declaring my candidacy for mayor of New York.
Yeah, it's that kind of day, Maddie. It's that kind of day. Breathe it out, bro. Breathe it out.
I've been watching the socials and everyone is talking about you. You're even in the Bieber report and you're blowing up, sir. I mean, a lot of engagement, a lot of depth.
Who is this guy?
Just want to say that I am so stoked to put you over the top.
Oh my gosh.
If we could get back to the
Can we even see where his face ends and Wilson's butt begins?
Mayor Fisk. That's the coolest fucking thing on the planet.
Why? You haven't articulated yet why he's a good person to be mayor. He's like, you'll do, little lapdog, you'll do.
Why would anyone vote for Fisk? He's a crook.
That's a question a lot of us ask ourselves. Breathe it out, Mac. Breathe it out. You know, you'd really think that Matt would have like a punching bag or something in his apartment because that guy's got so much rage constantly and he needs a way to express it.
I was just about to ask you what you're looking to get out of therapy. Kirsten said that you were looking for a therapist.
Kirsten, you sneaky. Love her. She's smart though. She's right. You need therapy bad, Matt. Bad.
Your hours suck and you argue everything.
Facts.
Kind of a sweeping generalization.
Argue everything.
See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The lawyer from the kitchen's got good taste in sandwiches.
Look at that. So Kirsten was actually right. Never doubt a black lady.
That's not funny. That is inappropriate. It's unethical and it's kind of creepy.
But I was right though.
And how did it go?
Exactly.
You're an insane person.
Thank you.
Liar. I swear to God, I can read a vibe with
She
you.
can. And she actually nailed it. Mm-hmm.
Stay out of my private life.
That's
She
never
won't.
gonna happen.
See, I know. We're soulmates. You need it, Maddie. You need it.
He say his wife's some kind of investment sorceress.
Yeah. That's whatever she can just be a smart investment person, huh? It's got to be magic.
New York's getting the mayor it deserves.
Oh.
That's me. That's pretty goddamn cynical, man.
Or maybe I'm just wising up.
Damn.
Cops in that bar were murdered by vigilante. I myself have endured vigilante violence.
That you started.
About getting shot.
Well, you know, you deserve that too.
Step back.
Thank you very much.
The weirdest handshake ever.
It's been some time, hasn't it?
Yes.
Ooh, in public.
I was wondering if we could have a little chat.
Broad daylight. Thought we'd see the day when Matt sat down with Wilson Fisk and actually talked without fists.
Well, I'll admit it's not entirely unpleasant to see you again.
Aw, did you develop a crush? You did, didn't you?
You have children?
No.
Like I'd ever tell you.
Well, that's the closest I've come.
How well did that go?
Shoot you in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows.
You don't seem entirely convinced.
I mean, you did try to kill me.
Considering you've tried to kill me a few times over the years. No. Incarcerate, maybe.
No, you tried to kill him, Maddie. It's okay.
Well, tragedy can transform a man.
This real conversation. Damn.
My time away,
Found God?
why did you stop being a vigilante?
Vigilante is a loaded word.
Parlance of our time.
I mean,
I was told you tried to kill Benjamin Poindexter.
he slipped out of my hands.
It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature.
Speaking truth.
I was raised to believe in grace.
And you never fully believed it, Matt.
So if you say to me that you're a new man, I say fine. But you should know I was also raised to believe in retribution.
Thanks, Dick.
So if you step out of line, I will be there.
Bestie.
This caution that you're giving me.
Right? Is it you or is it the devil?
Matt Murdock or
The devil of Hell's Kitchen.
you liked being on that rooftop with Dex.
Yep.
Liked how it felt, didn't you?
Sure did.
I will not tolerate people running around in silly costumes.
Okay, I'll improve it. Jeez.
There will be consequences.
And repercussions? All right, we understand each other.
It appears we really do understand each other. Good day, sir.
Oh, not a good day. Good day, sir. I say good day. The British jumped out of him right there.
You're a pretty great dinner date.
This was to apologize?
I like to set the bar low.
Sure.
Wilson Fisk has been elected the 112th mayor of New York City.
He told you.
How do you know?
The TV in the bar.
He's got really good hearing. Remember?
Pretty involved with him. Is there a history there?
Oh, you have no idea. Wifey in the back like, good job, little puppy, good job. Why do I feel like the relationship is far from loving anymore? This is a very interesting dynamic. Yep, she's gone. Into the shadows, where you want her. Or do you?
Do not kill him.
Not that man anymore.
Sure.
Promise.
That doesn't mean he won't hurt him badly. Just go home, Matt. Just go home. Put in some earplugs, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. Oh. Don't blame her, though. Matt be fine. Matt do be fine.
I can't stand it when Kirsten's right.
As I said, always listen to Kirsten. You'll do much better in life. Bro, artwork already? He's only been elected for 15 minutes. That is a great shot. It's a great shot. Probably the most Kingpin shot we've had. Oh, with the red light on the half side of his face. That's just like my poster, guys. It's just like my poster. Oh, and a flashing light. Well done. Do you think they're looking at each other lovingly? All right. You're right. Probably not. Okay, guys, well, that was a strong first episode. I actually liked it a lot. We didn't get anything too crazy. We definitely got our action scene because it wouldn't be Daredevil without those. And because this is not like a brand new series, I like that they're just treating this as a continuation of what happened in the original series. We don't need the preamble. We don't need the introduction to who Matt is or who Daredevil is. We just kind of jumped right in, which I appreciate. And we were able to have that action scene between him and one of his pretty huge nemesis from the comics, Bullseye, right off the bat. And I thought it was interesting because I was kind of wondering if they were going to use Bullseye potentially as like a side plot this season. But I mean, I don't think he's gone. Obviously, just because he's going to jail doesn't mean he'll stay there. But I'm interested to see if they're actually going to pull him out because, as I said, in the comics, Bullseye is like a pretty huge villain for Matt. Like he's up there with Kingpin as one of the villains he consistently has to go up against. And so to have him and Fisk, that seems like a lot for one season. But anyway, let's break down this episode. We lost Foggy in the first 10 minutes. That's crazy. That is crazy. I love my man Eldon. Can you imagine telling them, yeah, so we're gonna have you come in, Eldon, and you're gonna be shot in the first scene. Don't take it personally. Like, what? But realistic, right? Unfortunately, the idea that Matt was never going to lose anyone close to him was just not realistic, especially with the life that he's leading and the fact that there are people who know his true identity. But obviously still absolutely devastating. Foggy was a good guy and honestly was always just trying to do the right thing. And we still don't know why Bullseye did this. I mean, in the comics, he wasn't necessarily a madman. It's not that he just went around taking people out because he could. There was usually a purpose behind it. And I don't think that he did this for no reason. I do think that he was sent there for something. Like, and I'm not sure because we still don't know what Benny, I'm trying to remember what they said that they had Benny for. But they said Benny's, part of his story, Crazy Ben, was that he came across a shipment of something that he shouldn't have. And everyone was saying, nah, he's crazy. But I'm thinking whatever that shipment is that he came across is the reason that Bullseye got involved. But anyway, I'm sure all that was not for nothing is my point. But either way, poor Foggy had to die for it. And not only him, we saw 2 other cops were killed. Possibly a few other people that lived in that building because we saw that Bullseye was literally taking out just about everybody he could on his way up. And I really love the choreography they did for Bullseye. Like in the movie, which I try to forget ever happened, Daredevil, they had the character of Bullseye there. And I feel like everything they did with him was so over the top, that it was like, oh my gosh, yes, we get it. Like for those, I mean, I think everyone knows who Bullseye is, but like his whole power is that he never misses, right? That's the whole thing that he's got, that no matter what his target is, it doesn't have to be a gun, it could be a knife, it could be anything. Bullseye never misses, hence his name. So I like that they more subtly showed that in this whole action sequence with him, right? From, I mean, the shot of the Foggy to the two cops to the way when he went inside of the building, you know, he was throwing pool balls, hitting people exactly, throwing knives, hitting his target exactly. And I really love that one he did where he literally bounced something. I think, was it the pool ball? Yeah, the pool ball for the person behind him. He literally threw it backwards and it bounced and hit his target. Like little things like that. I love it. Like they're showing us without like being in our face about it to say this guy never, like he literally never misses, right? And so, I mean, he technically missed with Matt a few times, but only because Matt has, you know, with the hearing that he has, he's got reflexes faster than most, but he still hit Matt a bunch of times. Matt usually does not end up with that many, you know, he doesn't end up looking like a pincushion by the end of a fight. But yeah, my man did a lot of damage. And we see, as I said in the episode, I think they did a great job with the sound design of how Matt was doing his best to focus on the fight, but he was so sick about Foggy that he had to, like, he couldn't not listen in. He could hear Karen's desperation. He could hear Foggy and his, you know, his gurgled last noises right down to when his heart stopped beating. And he could hear it. He knew Foggy was gonna die before his heart stopped beating. And just, I kudos to Charlie in the way that he played, how Matt just, how he already started to grieve Foggy before the last heartbeat hit. And he just, you know, started to cry and just grabbed, you know, onto Bullseye. Like he just realized that it didn't matter if he beat him or not at this point because he lost Foggy and there was nothing he could do about that. So anyways, I just thought that was really, really well played. And also I love, one thing I love about Daredevil fight scenes from the Netflix show that I'm glad they brought over here is how tiring fighting is, right? And so many of these superhero shows, these people be fighting for hours and hours doing all kinds of acrobatics and they're fine. They barely break a sweat. They're fine. They can go for No, folks. I don't know if y'all have actually seen real fights. They're exhausting. There's a reason why in most martial arts, sparring, a round usually doesn't go more than 3 to 5 minutes because it's exhausting. 3 minutes of straight up fighting is extremely tiring. So I'm glad that they showed that after about 5 minutes of these guys going at it, they were both so tired. They were so tired. They were literally dragging limbs. And I love that the fighting got sloppier. The accuracy started getting off. Moves started to get more desperate. Like that is much more realistic of what a fight would be like between two people going balls to the wall for minutes, right? So anyway, I love that they kept that from the original Netflix. They did that. And I remember the stunt coordinators from that show, which I'm wondering if they brought them over for this one. I hope so. But I remember that one of them said that they made that by design because they were like, it drove them nuts to watch movies and see these people fighting forever without any type of break and being okay. He's like, nah, fighting is tiring. Our stunt people are exhausted every take. So anyways, that was really, really well done. So anyhow, as you can imagine, losing Foggy was a huge blow to Matt. I think that's something that Daredevil always thought that, you know, donning this costume, having these abilities, surviving as much as he has, I think he kind of had an air that the people around him were going to be safe, that he'd be able to protect them no matter what. And this was a real reality call for Matt, a wake-up call that, no, sir, first of all, you're not invincible, but second of all, you don't have the power to protect everyone all the time, including the people you love. And it just kind of broke him, right? And I knew it would, right? And I think that he felt like it was the suit that was part of the problem, right? Like maybe a part of him thought maybe I should have done something else. Maybe I should have, well, actually, sorry, let me take it back. When Matt asked Foggy why he didn't tell him that he'd stashed Benny at his place, we hear Foggy say, I didn't want to give you a reason, right? So basically indicating that he knows that Matt has an anger problem and that when he dons that suit, he does the most because he enjoys it. And he's still at the place where he still isn't admitting that, right? Matt is still very much in denial over the fact that he actually really does love beating the crap out of people, right? He gets a high out of it. But he always tells himself that it's the suit, it's what he's got to do. It's protecting the city, but it's so much more than that. But anyway, so having that happen, and then of course this domino effect of things that end up taking his friend's life, Matt feels like it's all correlated to the suit and the identity of Daredevil. And he has a moment, fairly rare moment, where he just basically says F it and tosses Bullseye off the roof. And I mean, personally, I'm all, listen, I know morally it's the wrong thing to do, but sometimes some people are better off not being here. If we're being 100, there's some problems that, you know, sometimes need a permanent solution. He shouldn't be the one to do it though. So I am glad he didn't end up with a murder charge, but I completely understand in that moment, that was absolutely the devil part of Matt that just said, actually, forget this guy. If my friend dies, you can too. Anyways, it wasn't enough to take him out. And so we see that a whole year goes by and Matt has not donned the suit since. And I love they showed that his helmet was broken and the suit was of course messed up, and Matt was not ready or willing to put the suit back on because of what he felt it represented. And of course, the city is somewhat suffering for it, right? There was a little bit of fear in the minds of a lot of the lower level criminals when they knew that Daredevil was out there somewhere. But when he stopped showing up, they got bolder again. And of course, crime went up again. And so Matt knows this is going on, but because he's still very much dealing with his grief and his guilt, he's trying to walk the straight and narrow. But we already know that whenever Matt tries to suppress that side of him, it typically never goes well. It just makes him very angry. He kind of has this gentle veneer of being good, but the anger is always just sitting right beneath the surface. And anyways, we see that he drove right back into being a lawyer. His old firm, of course, got dissolved. It looks like Karen, she just couldn't handle being around Matt and everything. So she moved out to the West Coast. And so Matt is now partners with somebody else who seems really fun. I really like Kirsten, and I like that she very much reads Matt like a book. So I do think it's a good person for him to have around. But obviously he's not okay. He's not happy, and she sensed that. So we see that she very smartly set him up with her friend who is a therapist, and because she knew that he would never go on his own, and I guess she knew that her therapist friend was not going to be set up on a blind date. So I like Kirsten already. She's a good people reader. We like that. But anyhow, now we see that Matt is once again in another relationship, but that's Matt, right? We all know that even in the comics, Matt was quite the lover boy. So not surprising, but this is just a distraction, right? This isn't really about him liking this girl. This is more about him looking for another distraction rather than dealing with the fact that he is still very depressed and very angry. And we saw a little tinge of that at the trial where we see that Bullseye gets sentenced to prison, which I have no doubt he's going to break out of at some point. And he sees Karen again for the first time in what looks like a very long time. And she does not even want to talk to Matt. And considering that they were pseudo dating before all this, that's a huge change in their relationship. But we find out that Matt understandably kind of shut down after Foggy died and shut her out. And she just thought, okay, well, I needed someone too, and you shut me out, so I'm going to go do my own thing. So I guess she's still pretty upset with him, but I think she's also upset that he basically decided that Daredevil was the problem when it really wasn't a matter of Daredevil being the problem. It's always been about Matt and his mindset and his refusal to accept that there's a part of him that loses control sometimes behind that mask. But anyway, we see that that's kind of the thing he's still dealing with, and he's going to have to come, confront it at some point if he wants to move forward. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I'm fairly certain something is going to happen and bring our girl Karen back to New York. But at this point, that's kind of where Matt's at. He's feeling very alone, very frustrated. And then if things can't get worse, Wilson Fisk is back. The man who up until now has been his biggest nemesis is back, and he is running for mayor, and he won, right? And so that whole conversation with Matt and Fisk was fantastic. I enjoyed every second of it. And we're going to get into it. But before we do, let's jump over to Fisk, because that was the other big part of this episode. And I said in the episode, I really liked the parallel that they showed between how Matt and Fisk were preparing for their days. Fisk, a very, very weight-controlled breakfast. That thing looked bland, man. I was like, man, just a dry egg white and one leg of asparagus, my God. But hey, my man said, listen, I gotta be healthy. I gotta get myself in shape. So anyway, we discover that, and I watched Echo. And for those who didn't watch Echo, to make a long story short, spoiler alert, by the way, if you plan on watching it, but I think they kind of spoiled it in this episode. At the end of Echo, she shoots Fisk right in the face. Literally point blank in the face. Should have taken him out, didn't. He did recover from it eventually, and I assume that he just kind of went back into his life. But we discovered that after he healed up, he actually, I guess, went on a spiritual sabbatical and kind of just left everything, especially like his business stuff, kind of in limbo while he did it. From the sounds of things, it looks like Fisk's wife, Vanessa, just picked up the pieces while he was gone. And we see she was managing all these, what does she call them? The 5 families, and, doing what needed to be done. And yeah, Fisk just kind of showed up without any warning. And I really love the subtle, like the nonverbal acting they show that when Fisk showed up, opens up the door, he doesn't say a word, not a word. Oh no, he says Vanessa, that's it. And everyone in the room sees him looks at each other, gets up, and vacates immediately. And anyway, that part was kind of funny, but honestly, that aside, the way that that showed the power dynamic, that despite the fact that Vanessa has been there for, we don't know how long at this point, but been there for a significant amount of time, picked up everything, did the job, had earned some level of respect, it showed that despite all of that, it was gone in an instant when Fisk came back. And sadly, I feel like that's a bit of a commentary on women and the way that they're kind of viewed when they're in powerful positions, unfortunately, that in the end, it's Fisk. And I mean, I know that Fisk has been at it longer and that he was the one who kind of built the reputation first, but you get my point. It just feels like it evaporated the second that he showed up, and she was understandably annoyed. She was kind of like, bro, you could have waited till I was done my meeting before barging in like that and basically cutting me off at the knees in front of the people that are supposed to respect me. And then his kind of placating messages after that, like, oh yeah, I saw that you did that. Yeah, they respect you or whatever. Like, and I love that she was like, yeah, I know they don't really respect me. They respect that I get them paid. Like, that's all there is to it. But anyway, from that conversation, we hear that we find out, like I said, that Fisk disappeared for a while, did not tell Vanessa or anyone where he was going, I guess. And now he's back and he wants to kind of just take over. And Vanessa, you can see, is not directly saying it, but I think she's a bit annoyed at the idea of that. But instead, Fisk lets her know that no, actually, I want to do things differently. I think I have the possibility of going clean, like actually running for this position and not having anything from my other businesses get in the way. And she basically lets him know that, look, I've got the shady part. I've got that unlocked. I've already cleaned everything up so that no one is going to be able to touch anything. So if that's what you want to do, you're good to go. So my guess is that that plan was set in motion before he was shot in the face, and that basically Vanessa finished up all those loose ends while he basically went to go find Jesus or whatever he did. So that's basically what happened. Fisk was like, all right, well, we're going to keep going with it. He's like, I'm going to go run for mayor, and I'm going to basically leave you in charge of all the dark stuff that I can't touch anymore without getting in trouble. And so I'm not sure if Vanessa is happy about this or not, but she accepts. And I'm kind of liking that Vanessa's got a bit of a mysterious vibe to her now, because in the Netflix series, you know, the first season, she's very innocent seeming. And then in the second season, she seems very loyal, but still a little bit naive. And now this Vanessa is very different. This Vanessa feels like she's in the world now. She has picked up on the kind of stuff that Fisk is doing, and she kind of wants a slice of the pie for herself, right? She's not really wanting to just be a trophy wife on Fisk's arm anymore. She wants to have her own stuff. That's what I'm kind of picking up from her. And one of the things I noticed was when they were at that table talking about everything, and he was talking about the plans to go clean, he said, oh, you know, when I was there, when I realized that I love you so much and we have a future together, all this stuff. And I noticed specifically that there was no physical interaction. She didn't reach out. She didn't touch his hand. He didn't take her hand. There was nothing. In fact, she kind of was holding her body language quite far back, like she was still keeping a distance between them. And this kind of persisted right into after he was elected and they were on the rooftop. Again, she came up there, no congratulations, no hug, nothing. And compared to what it was in the Netflix series, like they were very touchy-feely. They were very like sensitive and soft with each other. So the dynamic has shifted between the two of them. And I feel like it's going to be an interesting thing. I do think she's got her own stuff going on, I guess is my point. Like, do I think she still loves Fisk? Yeah, probably to some degree, but she's looking out for herself now. And I'm not against that. I'm all for women doing what they got to do, especially when they've got a very dangerous man that could potentially take it all away. So anyway, we'll have to see if anything comes of that. But anyhow, that's what's going on with Fisk, and that's what he's decided. We don't know. I mean, I feel like he's not lying about this sabbatical and this realization that he's got of this new vision he wants to accomplish as mayor. But the fact that he still wants to hold on to his shady business tells me all that I need to know, right? Fisk isn't willing to shut off all those things. So anyway, all of that comes back to this diner meeting, which I think was absolutely brilliant. The conversation between Matt and Fisk, so different from all the conversations and interactions we saw between them in the other show, which were always, for the most part, just laced with a lot of venom. Usually Matt just spewing a lot of anger and judgment at Wilson, and eventually Wilson basically doing the same. But the two of them sitting down and, again, having a civil conversation. But of course, you could feel the undertones, the simmer that was underneath the conversation of dislike that the both of them still have for each other. But in the end, I just think it's interesting that that conversation, once again, just like in the beginning, showing Matt getting ready for work and Wilson Wilson getting ready for his day. They're trying to show us the parallels between Matt and Fisk, right? Matt would argue that he is very different than Wilson Fisk, right? He would never say that him and Wilson are similar, and I'm pretty sure Wilson would say the same, but they really are. Both of them have a dark side, a violent nature, as Wilson described it, that they constantly are battling with, and both like that side of themselves, right? Even though they don't want to admit it, they both very much kind of revel in that dark anger, in that violence that can come out of them. But both of them feel that that side of them only comes out for the greater good, or whatever they believe to be the greater good, right? It's just a matter of perspective as far as who thinks they're right or who feels that they're more right. And so anyways, I just really like that they kind of had that interview, and kind of between the questions they asked each other, like I just pulled the fact that they're both very similar in the journeys that they're on. I mean, different things have happened, but the journey is very similar. And the fact that, you know, Matt knows when people are lying. So the fact that he was like, okay, you tell me that you're different now and you're trying to be better, I say fine. And I think that Matt is saying that because as Wilson is sitting in front of him right now and talking to him, he's telling the truth. Wilson does believe that he can make positive changes as mayor. Wilson does believe he's no longer the man that Matt knew years before. But as Matt said, I got my eye on you though, bro. And we see that Wilson returns in kind and says, look, when I'm the mayor, I'm not gonna allow costume vigilantes to run around my city. So you know that if you put that costume on again, all bets are off. So they're at a stalemate at the moment, both of them forbidding each other from delving into the sides that they feel is the darker side of each other. And we'll have to see who cracks first, I guess, is bottom line, right? Because I love that they keep showing that Matt keeps hearing people in distress, hearing crimes happen, hearing all these things, and he has to actively work to ignore it because it's not something he's ever had to do before. And so that temptation is constantly there for him. What is it going to take for him to feel like he needs to put that mask back on? And we saw even with Karen at the courthouse, she was like, Matt, giving up Daredevil wasn't necessarily the right way. In her opinion, it wasn't the right way to deal with his guilt and his, you know, his grieving over Foggy. But, you know, Matt's still trying to figure out the balance and what the right thing is to do, because let's face it, he very much did use that costume a lot of times just to take out his anger issues. And that's really what Foggy was, you know, calling him on. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. I really liked that conversation. And now we're seeing that Fisk is in fact in office, and Matt now has to figure out how he's going to deal with that, because it really does irk him to no end. But really, his whole life is out of balance. I feel like this episode just showed undeniably that he's completely out of balance, that nothing in his world is going the way that he wants, and he's not sure what he needs to do to find what's right for him again. He's definitely in the middle of an identity crisis. And now with Fisk being in such a powerful position, a public position, and one where a lot of people are looking upon him favorably, it just changes a lot of the way that he can even look at or approach Fisk going forward. And so again, that ending scene with that, I love how they did the flashing red light on half of his face, kind of showing that that part of him is still there, kind of deciding, am I on or am I off? Am I on or am I off, you know? And the fact that he was looking up to where he knows that Fisk is, you know, basically wondering how long it's going to be before he falls back into what he believes Fisk to be, right? So anyway, the clock is on. The race is on to see which one of them slips back into old patterns first. And also whatever else might be coming up, because I highly doubt that this is all we're going to deal with. I mean, we brought Bullseye in so far. What else is going on? If it's the Daredevil, I know there's going to be another couple of subplots going on here. So very good start to the season. I enjoyed that a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.